that resolved the case. It was nothing that got us to that. So it wasn't about it being exculpatory or inculpatory.
Well, evidence doesn't have to resolve the case to be important evidence in the case.
True.
In other words, you don't have to have the smoking gun to have important evidence, do you?
No, sir, you don't.
Well, just tell me this. Did you consider that the DNA of the unidentified individuals, of course, other than the boyfriend, that you already knew about the consensual intercourse and there was a match, did you consider that there was follow-up work to be done to identify both the source of the DNA, that is, who put it there, and also when it got there, and also how it got there? Was that something that needed to be followed up on?
Well, whether it needed to be followed up or not, I think my answer would be that, generally speaking, the only way you can ask the questions of when something got there and how something got there, or if you identify who it came from. And we were submitting samples in an attempt to determine who any DNA came from, but absent that, I mean, the reason, for instance, that we know when the boyfriend's DNA got there was because he could tell us, she could tell us. But without knowing who that came from, we couldn't know when it got there or how it got there. And so the first step in determining when or how something got there is to determine what its source of origin is. And you can only do that to the extent that you have a sample, a reference sample you could submit for testing.
Mr. Nifong, this is kind of the same question that Mr. Williamson just asked you, but what I'm wondering is, did you not at any point stop to think, you hadn't indicted, let's assume for purposes of this question that you knew this on April the 10th, before anybody was indicted. So did you not stop to think, this could be the perpetrators. This DNA could belong to the perpetrators, and so we've got some serious investigative work to do to make that determination?
No, ma'am, it did not occur to me that DNA could belong to the perpetrators. I thought that in light of the explanations given by Dr. Meehan with respect to DNA transfer and things like that it was very unlikely that DNA came from anyone who would have committed this offense. We didn't know that, but I thought it was highly unlikely.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Mr. Nifong, you have known for many years that the existence of male DNA on an alleged rape victim that does not match the accuser is not only potentially exculpatory, it's actually exculpatory.
I think that you can't know what the result of any evidence is without seeing context. I mean, if, for instance, somebody has consensual sex, a woman has consensual sex with her husband, and then has unconsensual sex with a stranger, the presence of the husband's DNA on the woman would not be exculpatory with respect to the stranger whose DNA matched.
Well, you have in fact dismissed charges in the past based on the existence of male DNA on an alleged victim that does not match the accuser of a suspect, haven't you? It
is certainly possible that I have, in conjunction with other facts. I mean, certainly it is a circumstance to be considered, and without knowing all the facts and circumstances, it would be hard to know exactly what that situation was. But yes, I'm sure that I probably have done that in cases where that evidence was, in fact, in combination with other evidence, something that specifically excluded someone.